Hey Homeworthy, I'm Molly. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome to my home. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
My name is Molly Basile. I'm an interior designer in Charleston, South Carolina, and we specialize in full-service residential projects here. We have a studio right outside of downtown Charleston where we also offer accessories and our favorite interior objects. And I have owned my business for a little over 5 years now, and it's a passion, and I love what I do. So we live in Mount Pleasant, which is right outside of downtown Charleston. We found our home about 5 years ago. We really fell in love with just kind of the laid-back charm of this neighborhood, and it's very central. So our home, we drove by quite a bit. We heard it was coming on the market and knew it had a lot of potential. It sits on a corner lot with a lot of space to play outside, and so my husband and I found the house. We actually, jumped on it before it even hit the market. We wrote a letter to the sellers, and really could see us here long term. So this is sort of our, what I would say, forever or long term home. We really fell in love with the location and just kind of the lot. There's a large magnolia tree out front. The backyard space, which I'll show you, was really nice and important to us. So we saw the potential. We brought in an architect and did a large renovation about 5 years ago. So it was about a year-long project. We kind of tore it down to like the brick walls, the original brick walls. But we love it, and it's just really comfortable. It does have formal traditional elements, but I also try to keep it very livable and family friendly. Welcome to my entryway. This is, you can see an original piece of the home with the lower ceilings. We wanted it to feel really warm and inviting, so I've added in textures and layers. I love this grass cloth Schumacher wallpaper that we did up the stairs, and added a fun pop of color with the stair runner, little leopard light blue, which I feel like is a classic, blue and white. We didn't have a lot of space. You can see it's not very large. It's definitely cozy, so added a small table here, a very narrow console, just to give it a little personality and interest when you come in, and then also added a mirror, an antique mirror, to give it a little character and bring in some light, just to reflect some natural light. We have a little drop here with plant and usually a key drop in mail, but some artwork, some favorite artwork, the green, and yeah, just really wanted it to feel warm, inviting, blues and greens, and then the neutral backdrop with the grass cloth, and a little flush mount crystal chandelier to give it a little bit of that traditional charm that the original structure had, and couldn't go too large with the lower ceilings. Now I'd love to show you my office. My office is right off of our entry. We have the glass pocket doors we added to give a little privacy but still bring in the light. This is another smaller space in our home, but perfect amount just for me to kind of sit in here and work when I want to work from home. It is a similar color palette off the entry with warm neutrals and blues and greens. Added these floral draperies, this antique desk, which I love, and then kind of a fun little modern chair at the desk. So you can see I love family pictures and try to keep it very personal in here. with, all of the styling and the built-ins as well. One big piece of it was adding the storage, and so we did the built-in wall with the grass cloth at the back to bring in the grass cloth from the foyer and also just give it a little more depth. So we designed these built-ins, and you can see I have lots of personal items that are kind of, rotating occasionally, and then a little bench here. Before I had my studio in Charleston, I worked out of here full time, and so definitely had, some good functional storage that was important. But I love this little space right off the entry, and it's a nice place to kind of just work from home and have a little quiet when I need. The little pillow is my favorite thing to make for dinner is reservations. And it's kind of true with where I am in my phase of life right now. I do enjoy cooking, but we are, busy with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and so going out to dinner is a treat and one of my favorite things. And then I've added this more modern abstract art with pulling out blues and greens again from sort of the entry color palette, and then the drapery panels in here, but needed something large to fill this wall. It's a good backdrop, to any calls, and also just adds a, pop of color on this large white space. When we first saw the home, we really loved the charm. It was a 1950s colonial style. I love the traditional curb appeal. My husband really wanted sort of an updated, newer style, more modern finishes, and so it was a good place for us because we knew that we saw the potential with the the space to add on. But then we've got low ceilings in part of the home, like 8-foot ceilings and some narrow hallways, and so it does have that kind of traditional feeling like my house growing up had, and so it just felt like us. It felt like we could kind of get the best of both that we each were looking for and make it our own. I would describe my style as fresh traditional. I love traditional textiles and florals and blues and greens, but I also like to kind of make it light and comfortable, not too formal, livable, and so a lot of our projects do kind of have a similar style where we bring in a mix of textures and colors and kind of make it feel updated while still maintaining, a lot of those traditional elements. I love mixing in, modern accessories or abstract art with a more traditional floral and kind of giving it a twist, clean lines, and so I try to mix in, different furniture pieces that, kind of balance out that traditional feeling. Now I'd love to show you the kitchen if you want to follow me. Welcome to my kitchen. It's very, light, kind of clean, white. Added the unlacquered brass finishes throughout, and just wanted a really kind of clean palette and light and bright space. We added the large island, which I love, and this is kind of where we spend a lot of our time, as most do, I'm sure. The brass lanterns, I love the idea of just doing something different for the pendants, and added the fun little fabric shades on the lanterns to give it a little personal touch and pop of color. But it's very just clean, timeless, the white and brass. This is our cozy corner, as we call it, and it's one of our family's favorite spaces. This is our little breakfast nook. So it's not the formal dining space, but where we do eat a lot of family meals, and had this large abstract art commissioned for the big wall at the back. And I've added some durable faux leather bench cushions, so it's very family friendly and also where we spend a lot of time. The bar stools we had from our last home, which was actually very cozy kitchen, and so my goal with the acrylic was just to keep them very light. We brought them into this home, and I still love them with children. I can just wipe them down, which is really nice. They kind of disappear, and they're definitely more clean, modern lines with, the more traditional lantern and unlacquered brass finishes. So, I just kind of like to keep this really fresh and clean. I still love an all-white kitchen, so. And one last thing is this little table. This I put at the end of our island between the kitchen and living room, and so when my children are having a snack, Sometimes dinner happens here, but this is their perfect little spot. Easy for me to, kind of help them. And this is a nice little touch at the end of the island. Right near our kitchen, kind of off the island, we have a little bar area where we love to entertain, have friends over. You can see, we just have a little styled bar. It also is right between the kitchen and the dining space. Our kitchen and dining room is all very open, but I still tried to create sort of a more traditional, formal feel in this dining room. So you can see it is open concept, but added the formal chandelier and just more of the traditional Louis chairs with the green fabric to give it some interest. So this is our formal dining room right behind the kitchen. And then as we move into our living space, so this is where the original home ended, and we did this addition here, this vaulted room, really kind of to make the house feel updated and new. With the 8-foot ceilings in the kitchen, we transitioned to the vaulted space. I have my children's silhouettes hanging on each side of the kitchen. That kind of brings us into this space, which is a favorite, and an antique chest I found from England. And then we've styled it with family photos, which I mentioned I love to incorporate some fresh flowers. And so this brings us into the living room. I've added, personal touches throughout our home. We have a lot of family photos, lots of artwork that has special meaning to us. Those are the first things that come to mind. You'll see, it's lived in. We have toys, in baskets around our living room. And even though it feels like it can be formal and nice for entertaining, it's also really a reflection of us. So I like to sprinkle in, my kids' artwork or pictures of them, and it's just feels like them, and they get excited about it, and so it's a balance. And right off of our kitchen and dining room is our great room where we spend a lot of our time. And as I mentioned, we vaulted the space, so it's very tall ceilings, a ton of natural light, and a lot of windows. And yeah, come on in. When I designed this room, I started with the rug and really pulled colors from here. So it is a large white space, and I wanted to bring in some color and warmth while still keeping it fresh and light. And so I added the blue sofas with the traditional stripe on the chairs. And this is where we love to hang out. So performance fabrics and then lots of pattern with the rug and pillows was important to kind of help hide any stains, so it feels very family friendly. The fireplace is the center, the focal point of the room. We did hang our TV, it's an art TV, over the fireplace. And then I added some little touches here with the brass to tie in the brass finish throughout the home. These were actually my grandmother's brass candlesticks, which is really special. And then I love adding a little pop of color with candles, a little unexpected. Behind the sofa, I have our family photos here. I love to change these out when I can, and I think adding those personal touches throughout a space just make it really feel like home. And my children even love to, look at them and see them when they were babies. But adding family photos, I do love to style that way. And little, silver frames. I have a few here, but I think silver frames are a nice way. You can kind of find them anywhere, but they can dress up the family photos so nicely and really look so classic. So our coffee table is a little bit of a distressed wood finish. So it's nice and durable. Also, the distressing helps with little scratches. Lots of toys we play lots of games, and there's a lot of toys on the table. But the traditional wood, I really love to bring in some dark wood in a room. Especially with something so bright and white. And then the traditional Ming foot on the table I love. So this table we've had for a long time, but it's just a classic piece. At each end of the room we had these little walls, and it was important to add some color at the back. So I actually had the paintings of my children commissioned by local artists, and that is my son at the beach a couple years ago, and then my daughter's on the other side, but they're very special to us. And I found 2 chests. They're not a pair, they're a little bit different, but I have an antique chest on each side of the room. And then again, just kind of styling with family pictures and creating little vignettes. It's a nice little corner at the back of the room. Custom draperies. I love adding custom drapes to projects when we can. I think they can give so much to a space. The tall ceilings and windows in this room, it was important that we had some privacy in a way to really highlight the windows. So added these white linen drapes with a detailed trim here that pulls out, the color palette again. I obviously love some blue and green, but the embroidered tape to dress it up a little bit on the leading edge. But these, I think, give the space a little bit of a more formal feeling and really highlight the windows, which was nice. I source kind of all over. I love an antique, a good find. And so for my own home, I would say I've pulled in a lot of antiques and kind of one of a kind pieces. For projects, we do source a lot of new furniture as well. I think antiques are just special. They tell a story. They're a little lived in, which I appreciate. And then, with lighting and kind of pulling in, like I said, modern lines, I think it's a nice balance. Throughout my home, I've sourced, it's taken a while. It's still not quite finished. It's always a work in progress. We've been here living in the home about 4 years, and I still am adding. So there's layers to it, and that's how I approach our work and our projects. And so I think that's what gives, a design, a feeling of home with having kind of layers and personal touches throughout, which comes with time. And now I'd love to show you our powder room. Follow me. So our powder room, I wanted to dress it up a little bit. I added the little glass doorknob and the brass console sink, which was perfect because it's a very small space. And the green wallpaper, I love this color green. It's a favorite of mine. And so added this with the brass and then the grass cloth mirror to give it some texture. Designing the marble sink was really fun. We added the custom little detail there for the backsplash. And then a favorite part is the little light switches where you can see the wallpaper behind them. Yes, now that I've had my business for about 5 years, I would say my career certainly affects my home. I'm constantly, seeing new pieces and feeling inspired by what we see at, furniture market or with travels. And it's always tempting to kind of bring that in to my own home. But I think, it's a work in progress, like I mentioned, so it's evolving and kind of never being done. My career is my life. It's, what I do all the time outside of my family, and so it just trickles into my home. And we even just were in North Carolina a couple weeks ago at Furniture Market and added a few new things to our house. So looking for projects, but also kind of always, if I'm drawn to something, I'm like, I'll find a place for it at my own home, so. And then just right around the corner is our family's mudroom, kind of drop zone, so come follow me. This is where we come in and kind of drop our bags and mail and keys, so we have a lot of storage to kind of hide it all. You can see we've got hooks and cubbies, so shoes can be tucked away, and adding the wallpaper in here was also really fun. I love, the all, kind of one color, the same color throughout. So we painted the trim blue and the cabinets to match the wallpaper and just kind of give the space a little personality since it is just sort of the drop zone. You can always make them really happy and pretty. So in this space, even with the floral wallpaper, I wanted it to feel like a utility space and kind of storage mudroom, and so added this little task light over the window that's nice, you can see when you come in. What gives a home soul? The people that make it up. So I think it's a safe space for your children to come home to, for your family to really be together. And so I think with young children, it becomes even more important to me to just create a safe little haven for them to be happy and be together. All right, now we'll head upstairs and I will show you our guest bedroom. before we head to the guest bedroom, I did want to show you these baby gates we had made with the Chippendale design when we moved in, obviously for safety, but they also kind of are nice to dress up the stairs. And welcome to our guest bedroom. You can see I love some wallpaper, so added the wallpaper in this room, and then also carried it with the fabric on the window treatments. But this is our little escape for our guests when they come visit in Charleston. Usually it's family and friends visiting. And the soft blue, I fell in love with the fabric first and the wallpaper idea, and just kind of carrying the same fabric throughout the room. Soft blue color I loved. I wanted it to feel very calming and relaxing and cozy with the vaulted ceiling, the dormer I should say, but found the fabric and wallpaper combination and love the idea of using the same one throughout the room. So this is our guest bedroom. This is another antique piece I loved, and a piece I found I didn't have a spot for, but you know, kind of made it work in this room. And I love the mix with the more, you know, kind of updated coral mirror here. So it's sort of coastal beachy with a little bit of traditional mixed in. So a lot in this room is vintage. I found those vintage prints years ago, and they've kind of moved throughout different homes with us. And then this fun little chair I found at a vintage shop in town, but thought it was really fun, and just kind of a nice little drop zone too for guests when they come, place to put their things. And I like the kind of coastal texture that the rattan brings to the room. So this room, like I mentioned, I wanted it to feel traditional and cozy, but also bring in some coastal elements and textures, which we did with these fun little scalloped wicker side tables. And then the more traditional brass sconces we put on each side of the bed. It just feels kind of like a little escape for our guests, which I love. And these built-ins, we had sort of a, you know, kind of awkward little nook here, and thought it would be nice to style some shelves and add some personal touches there, and favorite collected items. So on each side we have family pictures and just kind of special little keepsakes that we've collected. This is our guest bathroom right off the bedroom, and carried the same blue tile into this space that complements the wallpaper nicely from the bedroom. Feels very calming and relaxing in here, and it's small, but we had fun with just kind of the mirror placement and the sconce being cozy. But this was one of those challenges with designing the room when it was, you know, the original structure, just kind of ceiling pitches and dormers, and so love how we just kind of created this little bathroom off the bedroom. So we have some Wheezy towels in the bathroom with a personal monogram that also tie into the blue on the bath mat. And I think little personal touches like that and kind of thoughtful design details really make our guests feel welcome, which makes me happy. My favorite part of our home is our outdoor space. My second favorite space would be the living room we're sitting in now, with all of the natural light. Like I mentioned, I love that. But our outdoor space, we have plenty of space for the children to play, a pool, we entertain friends a lot. We have a nice screened-in porch that I love, and this time of year, being outside in the spring, it just makes me happy when we can kind of unwind at the end of the day and be outside. So I would say probably my whole house agrees that the outdoor space is our favorite. And now I'd love to take you downstairs to the backyard, which is our favorite part of our home and why we fell in love with this property. So come on downstairs. So welcome to our screen porch, which is just off our living room. And this is where we spend a lot of time when it's summer and mosquito season in Charleston. So we have a fireplace here with a TV, and this is where we entertain a lot and spend time with friends when we're by the pool. And then this opens up to our backyard. With the furniture out here, I wanted to keep it, it's obviously outdoor. It will hold up to the weather and just really light and kind of clean and fresh. The wicker, I love the lines of the furniture with the traditional wicker detail. And then this white table, another very durable piece that, you know, we kind of hang out and entertain, like I mentioned, and so it's great for all sorts of things. And then the blue, love some blue and white, and so brought in just a touch of blue on the pillows to keep it really classic and just soft and bright out here. And now I'll show you the rest of the backyard. Right off the screened-in porch, we have our grill area and table where we spend a lot of time in the summer, and then it opens up to our pool lounge side. So we tried to kind of create different little areas to spend time in the backyard. At the very back, we have the fireplace, pool loungers by the pool, and then our dining side. We spend a lot of our weekends by the pool in the summer when it's warm in Charleston, and this is, I think, my kids' favorite place to spend time. We have a lot of friends over. They can come in on our side gate. We can grill, have dinners, and then just kind of hang by the pool and swim. It gets pretty hot here, so this is the perfect little escape the heat. So our pool, we chose kind of a darker pool and darker tile. It's very clean line, which I love, and so the furniture is sort of a reflection of that. It's teak, just classic clean lines. Ties in the blue from the screen porch with the lumbar pillows. I wanted it to feel just like a relaxing resort to, again, just escape and unwind, and then added the little scalloped umbrellas just for a fun little pop. It feels just kind of unexpected and playful, which I like. So this fireplace addition in the back, we love just kind of the unexpected look of it with the traditional details of our home, and so we chose kind of cleaner lines, just really minimal out here to give it a more transitional design. And this is where it's really nice even in the fall and winter to just kind of sit out here, have a fire, glass of wine, and just relax. I believe a home is a reflection of the people who live there. It should bring you happiness. It should bring you relaxation. It should bring you a lot of joy and a lot of fun memories. When I work on projects, with our clients for an extended period of time, usually at least a year or two, when I kind of say, okay, we're done and it's yours, and move in, I think about all the memories that they will have together, and so that brings me so much happiness. That's why I love what I do.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.